All right. What's going on, party people? This is your man Grill. Want to throw this video out. It's been on my mind since yesterday, and I'm doing it's a video that I'm putting together for the business members. But I gotta just throw this out here. I'm gonna just sit here. I was gonna drive, but I'm just going to sit here and do this video. And maybe this will help everybody understand what our role and responsibility is and why it's so difficult to get money from other companies, your W-2, these businesses that you're doing closings from, and all of that. It's a term, as it says in the title, fiduciary duty. And I'm not going to go into deep detail. There's links in the description below. So if you want to have a better understanding of it, then you need to listen to those videos. But I'm just going to try to summarize it from a notary's perspective, because you're not going to hear them talk about it from a notary perspective. They're going to talk about it from a financial person, a financial planner, or a lawyer, or some, doctor, something like that. Basically, a fiduciary is a person who has a legal obligation to protect the interests of another. And the fiduciary duty is a person that, okay, there's a duty between one person and another person to treat each other right, to do what's best in each other's interests, especially in the LLC partnership, so forth and so on. You'll learn all of that when you look at the videos in the description below. The first video that you'll see in there is from Jasper Singh from a Minority Mindset. He's talking, it's an hour long, but there's a small portion in there that's talking about fiduciary duty as to why. And I think when you look in his description, I think he has his stuff broken out into chapters. So you'll see the different chapters and you can sort of skip through. And he talks about it. And what he pointed out, which makes a whole lot of sense. And just so y'all know, those of y'all who've been with me the whole time that I've been on the channel, y'all know I used to have a Tony Robbins book. I hadn't had any books behind me because where I was sitting at before in the dining room, there was no space for it. But where I'm back at my normal spot now, I would have books. And one of them was a book by Tony Robbins about money. And in that book, he talks about getting with a financial planner who has a fiduciary duty. And he gave a loose definition or explanation of it. And what I understood was that a person who has a fiduciary duty is somebody who's obligated to look out for your best interest. So taking that understanding and then mirroring it with what Jasper Singh put out, where he was talking about the fiduciary duty of a manager, or a business owner, or a CEO or a CFO. Where does that person's fiduciary duty lies? Where does their obligation and their loyalty lies with regard to finances or business expansion, so forth and so on? And in short, it lies with the stockholders in most cases. So you say, well, how does that affect us as a notary? Well, as a notary, the signing company has a fiduciary duty to do what's in the best interest of the escrow company, and it goes all the way up to the lender. The lender has a fiduciary duty to do what's in the best interest of its shareholders. If a title company has shareholders, that title company has a fiduciary duty. The management of that company has a fiduciary duty to ensure that the stockholders are making money, not the notary, not the signing company. The signing company, they have a fiduciary duty to themselves to make sure that they're making the money. And then you as a notary has a fiduciary duty to make sure you're making the money. So when you're asking a person to just give you more money just because you say you want more money, they have no fiduciary duty to do that. There's a sink in moment. They have no fiduciary duty to make sure that you are making more money. just the same as your manager, your boss at your job does not have a fiduciary duty to ensure that the employees are making more money. Who does that person have a fiduciary duty with? Now, if you're with a company that does profit sharing, things of that nature, and Just Proceed talks about that, then that's different. That's very different. But if you're in a traditional company, they don't have a fiduciary duty to you. So you work as a W-2 in an environment where there's no fiduciary duty to ensure that you making the best money possible, making sure that you have all of these perks and stuff. Then you come over into being a business owner, and now you want everybody else to have a fiduciary duty to make sure you make the money. Now, if you want more money out of a particular person, you got to give them a reason. However, if it's their business model, as I've talked about multiple times, if it's their business model to only operate at this level with regard to notaries, then guess what? You're going to be hard pressed. Now, if they're in a situation where, and this is the benefit, this is how I can benefit the good notaries. If a company is in a situation where the notaries in your area are just acting a pure fool, begging for more money, demanding more money, putting the company in a position to where they're losing money, or they're losing money because they can't get a notary to take the orders, which is what I talked about last week that my son noticed with the business, and that a lady told him, signing company. So then the question is, how does it benefit you? Well, if you show up, be the right notary, give them what they desire, be the notary that you're supposed to be, then that means that's more business for you. Even if it's not at a higher pay, even if it's still at their same 75, but now you got $15, $20, $75 orders that you know you can pretty much get every month from this company because they look at you as reliable. Or if they feel confident in you, and it's like, okay, well, we need to pay this person more money. And that has happened with many notaries. They're like, okay, well, we know that we can rely on you, so you're worth the more money because you've shown that, hey, it's in the best interest of us to pay you the more so we can get this done and not have to rely on some notary that we're sketchy with, because they have a fiduciary duty to the people who's paying them, who their client is. Remember, the notaries aren't the client of the signing company. The signing company is our client. We are there on their behest. The signing company isn't out doing something for us and then reporting back. They're not our client that's going out trying to find signings for us and then say, hey, here, you want this signing? No, that's not. They're not out. They're our clients. They're our clients. They're not our. You know what I'm saying? They don't work for us. We work for them. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we have to make sure that we do what's in the best interest of them. They make sure they do what's in the best interest of their people. If they see that paying us a little bit more money keeps the relationship straight with who they're getting the majority of their money with, then they probably would do that. But it's all centered on the fiduciary duty. Now, let's take this a step further. Where is your fiduciary duty as a notary? The moment you raise your hand, your fiduciary duty is with the state that you commission to. You have an obligation. You took an oath. You have an obligation to do what? Follow the laws of your state and to do things in accordance with your state. So your duty is to them, not to the notary trainer that trained you. The notary trainer has a fiduciary duty to who? You will want to say to me because I'm paying them. Okay. But do they have a fiduciary duty to the state that you're in to teach you notary to the level that you need to be taught? If they don't have an obligation, if they're not even commissioned or even appointed by your state to even be teaching you notarial knowledge and anything, notarial information, then you can't really expect them to be obligated or have a fiduciary duty to make sure they're doing the best for you. You will hope they would because you're paying them. And in my opinion, that's what it should be. But not all of them take it that way. Okay, not all of them even understand what a fiduciary duty is. So, in short, hopefully you understand from what I've shared here, who has a fiduciary duty to do what for who? And how do you play in it? Where's your role in this? If your role is not in the proper alignment, then you can't expect them to be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna pay you $200 just because you said so. Now you got them paying you money, not because you really did anything spectacular, but, well, you did do something spectacular. You held the documents hostage. So because you held the documents hostage, all right, here's some extra money. You're not going to get used anymore. So when you sit here and say, I'm not doing this unless I get paid this, I wouldn't do a loan mod unless it's $200. If you ask me to do something that's 15 pages more than what I think I should, I'm asking you to pay me another $50 to $100. That company is like, I have a fiduciary duty to my people to ensure that I stay within the budget that they set. So, kids. So that's where it's at. Now, when you look at the terms of service that you have with a company, you have a fiduciary duty to do things in accordance with those terms of service. And I'm going to be doing a video on terms of service. You need to understand what your role and responsibility is in accordance with the terms of service. That company, that signing company, that title company has an obligation to who they are in agreement with, who they have an agreement with, a terms of service. So hopefully you understand in short, just a little bit. Maybe it's making your brain really percolate. I'm begging for more money, and that's what some people are doing. I'm demanding more money. I'm being gangster for more money. And the company is like, I have no obligation to pay you more. We have an agreement. Our terms of service says this, and now you're trying to void out the terms of service and say, nah, I don't, forget that. Give me this. But the terms of service says that you agree to do this order based on what the fee is that we put in the order at that time. Yeah, I see all that. No, you don't, because you probably didn't read the terms of service. And now you want more. And now the first thing they say is, okay, how do I justify this to the people? I don't care. I want more money. So that's where the problem comes in at. So look at the 2 links in the description about fiduciary duty, and then start thinking about how it applies to notary. Now, this is not, I already know in a perfect world, this subject, and then you sitting there reading, looking at the videos and having a clear understanding about this, in my perfect world, will squash all of this here ranting and raving about how much you're getting paid, because you now understand who had about fiduciary duty, and you have to look at who has a fiduciary duty to who. And really, there ain't too many people who have a fiduciary duty to us, except for the NNA, because we're paying them to provide us information. So they have an obligation to help us so that we can be successful and not give us false information, mislead us, misguide us. So they have a fiduciary duty to us for us, providing us the proper information, being there for us, emailing us back, answering phone calls, all of that. The rest of these cats don't. They don't. So if you decide to start a signing company, who does your fiduciary duty go to? The notaries who aren't your employees. Now keep in mind, the notaries are not your employees. They're not your W-2s. So they're independent contractors. They come and go. You might see them today. You might never see them again. So who's your fiduciary duty to as a signing company? To the people who you got a contract with, which is the title company, the escrow company, the settlement company, the lender. Because they're asking you, hey, can you provide this for us and do this for us on our behalf? Yeah, we got you. And now you're asking the notary, I need you to go out there and do this. And the notary has a duty to provide certain things to you, to do certain things a certain way. And if that company tells the signing company, we'll pay you X amount of dollars per signing, and then you say, well, I can afford to pay the notary this amount. And now the notary just has to decide, okay, whether I'm going to go out here and do this work for that amount. If the notary says, no, I want more, okay, you can want more, but my business model is set up to where I can't pay you anymore without me suffering a loss on my end. And if there's a reason for me to pay you more, I need to know. That's why in most terms of service, it says do not go out there and do return trips without first getting it approved. Because if you do, you're going out there on your own and you're not getting paid because they not getting paid. So if they don't get paid, you ain't getting paid. So if they want to be able to pay you for going out there, then you need to let them know. You have a fiduciary duty to inform them, hey, there was a mistake. I'm gonna go back out there and fix this. Hold on, let me go check to make sure, to see whether or not you need to be compensated for that. That's really what this is all about. So, yes, I'm checking my phone because an order came in on SnapDocs, and I'm trying to see whether I am going to do this. Yep, I'm going to do this. All right. That's for the end of the month, October 30th. So that's all I wanted to share with y'all in short. With the members, I'm going to probably do a little more detail talking about this and everything. And yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit more detail talking about this and really trying to break this down for the business side people. But I just wanted to put this out to everybody so y'all can have something to think about, meditate on, and make and hopefully get some things cleared in your mind. But you do need to look up and understand fiduciary duty, not just the word fiduciary, but fiduciary duty. You look that up. If you don't understand it after that, if you still like, I don't care. And that's how some people gonna be. I still want to, you gonna pay me. You do what you do. I'm here trying to share information to help you understand things. And one example of fiduciary duty, if two people are partnered up with each other, one person can't go and do something that could undermine the other. That's really what it boils down to. That's really what it boils down to. You can't do stuff to undermine the other person. So if two notary training groups try to get together, one can't be out here teaching stuff that's going to undermine the other. That would be completely wrong. So if two notary training companies got together, or two mentors or whatever, you can't be doing stuff that undermines the other. If you're in a partnership and an agreement to work together, you can't do anything to undermine each other. That's really what it boils down to. So that's one of the heart of it. And if you can get that, then you can understand why these signing companies are like, I ain't paying you. I can't pay you because this, that, and the other and everything. So that's all I got. Another signing coming in. So that's all I got for y'all. Have fun. Be easy. Peace.